Welcome back to Rev It Up Bowling. My name is Jayson Robarge. This is Marcos, and today we're going to be doing a junior gold review. Marcos is going to be bowling on the 46-foot long pattern. We're just going to basically go over some of the things that maybe he struggled with, some of the observations he saw at junior gold, and get him lined up better and teach him a few things about pre-tournament strategy, how to play the lanes, ball choices, stuff like that, how to play typically a long pattern. Now, these patterns you only guys see at junior gold. They're specifically made for them. Unless you're bowling something locally, you probably never see this pattern again. However, you can definitely take some tidbits from this and be able to apply it to most any type of pattern. Without further ado, let's get into it. We're gonna start on the 46-foot pattern. Now, the junior gold patterns, they're made for junior gold. You won't really be able to find them any other place than at junior gold. We're gonna be going ahead and bowling on the 46-foot. What we're gonna be doing is basically going into a tournament. I want you to play the lane and use the skills that you currently have to try to get lined up in the next 2 to 4 shots or so. And then we're gonna talk about what you're going through. One of the things that we talked about before was more of like, what strategy are we using going into that tournament? What are we looking for, right? Now, when we have those junior gold patterns, you guys get to see them at the tournament, right? Right, they release them
after the tournament.
Right after the tournament, okay. When you go into junior gold, and this was, I think, a little different when I went. I believe they were posted. When you go into a tournament and you don't know what the shot is, there's certain things that I would prefer, or at least the way I play the lanes or what I look for is specific things. What I want you to do is use your method, try to get lined up on this particular shot, and then we're gonna talk about why you picked that ball and what you're trying to go into it. Basically like the precursor to the actual tournament, and then we'll work on the lane.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and try to get lined up, throw whatever ball you want, and see what it does.
All right. Well, in qualifying, I threw the ion max to start. I started pretty far left, but looking back, probably could have started more right. Let's see. Now it's way too far out.
Yeah. All right.
It's a common issue for me on that pattern is I throw it out way too far out.
Yeah, you see that OB. Yeah.
Same far right. Keep it a little straighter. Still too far out.
Okay, closer.
Yeah, still throwing it really far out. Like, obviously now that I've looked at the pattern, there's a lot of oil in the middle. I want to try and throw it out maybe like 13 to 14 as the break point or so.
Yeah, they're kind of around that right tracer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try and get it closer to the pocket. My problem was I played too far left and I'd constantly throw it out and miss the pocket. And I'd also be playing too far into the oil where there's a lot.
Sure.
I think now I'll probably stay on that break. It's a lot better.
Oh, better.
Closer to the pocket.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely that one was closer to 12, 13 down lane, and you went through the arrows around 16-ish.
Yeah.
Go ahead and try to repeat that one more time.
A little too far out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so now we've thrown 4 shots or so, and we can see that 3 of them basically were out the window.
Yeah.
We already know there's a lot of oil, right? It's definitely a longer pattern. Now, when you go into junior gold, you know what it's gonna be like as far as if it's a long pattern or not, right? That can make things easier, but we're gonna go under the assumption that we don't know what it is. When you went up at junior gold and you were bowling on this pattern, what was your thought process? Like why did you pick the ion max, and why did you feel like the angles you were playing were proper? Like what got you to that point? Was it just a couple shots in practice and then you moved left? Or was there a game plan where you went in and go, I actually want to play this area? Yeah. If it's gonna work or not, but this is my strategy. What was your thoughts?
Well, I threw the ion max on the long because it's a bigger ball, so I'd assume it's the longer pattern. I'd want to throw the bigger ball on that, but I didn't really process that it was lighter in volume. So I probably should have thrown maybe like a weaker, cleaner ball. That probably would have been better. And then as far as like playing my angles, I played it how I've been able to play previous long patterns, and I use my knowledge from that. Okay. But obviously the pattern's not the exact same as previous patterns. Yeah. I played it could have played differently then.
Gotcha. So one of the things I'm gonna go over with you is how we're gonna set ourselves up on a pattern we don't know what it is. Now, the only information we had was, it was a longer pattern, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, we're probably not gonna play one board at that point.
No.
We're gonna be able to cross out part of the lane, but we still gotta worry about our angles, what ball we're choosing, speed, all that sort of stuff. Whenever I go up to a tournament and I don't know what's out there, and there's two things I always do, is I throw basically the slowest reactive ball I have. What I mean by that is either urethane, if I know it's maybe shorter, if I don't know what it is, I'll still throw it. That's the slowest ball I own. If not, I'm gonna be throwing something like the Mesmerize, or in your case, the Ion Max. I think you picked up roughly the right ball to start with, at least figure out where this is going. Now, the other thing I like to do is start out, we know it's a long pattern, probably the 5 board, first arrow is probably not it, but occasionally maybe we'll throw one out there. What I like to do is throw the slowest ball I have up, first, second arrow, roughly. I mean, it's long, we know it's a long pattern, so probably around second. The idea with this is we want to at least maybe find the OB or the friction right, or maybe we can find some tug in.
Yeah.
Where we can go from that is, if we have the slowest hook and ball in our bag, and we throw it and it just rolls out, that immediately tells us that we don't need stuff that slow or for that much volume. Either if you're throwing that ball and you're on fresh and it rolls out completely, probably not enough volume for that type of ball. By doing this strategy, you can basically tick off a few options, and that way you're not maybe starting out with a mid-level ball and you're like, well, do I need more back end? Do I need more core, right? You have a lot more options. When you can start with the slowest hook and ball you have, the slowest transitioning, over control is better than skid flip.
Yeah.
I'd rather have you lean towards that side, especially with a two-hander with rev rate, right? I'd rather have you lean towards more control than not. That's why we see urethane pop up a lot, even for the youths, especially now. Junior Gold, how many purple hammers were there?
Almost every single lane had at least 3 purple hammers.
On almost every pattern, yeah?
Almost every pattern.
Now, the long pattern from you guys said had less purple hammers on it.
But people were still throwing it.
But people were still throwing it. A lot of the reason is because it's the slowest, most consistent ball in the market. That's urethane. That's what it's literally meant for. Now, on this particular pattern, I don't know if urethane's gonna be it. At center bowl, because we know the house, it's gonna be iffy. Like, we don't have a lot of friction out, it's a longer pattern, and we just threw a big old ball and it's sent past the head pin. What we're gonna do now is I wanna try to get you lined up using my strategy,
okay.
Right? Now, brain's clear, we just showed up, we're gonna go ahead and throw some shots in practice and see what it does. What I want you to do is try to stay around second arrow and just try to get lined up and then read the ball motion. If you get it out to 5, does it come back? If you get it into 10, 11, does it hold the pocket? Okay. This is gonna tell us what the lane's doing without us knowing what the lane is.
Okay.
Then we can read the ball motion and make our equipment changes from there.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, start around second-ish arrow, right? We already know it's a long pattern. We can skip a few steps, but go ahead and second arrow, straight up.
Standing on 21, probably gonna shoot at about 9 or 10, maybe 11, but I'll go for 9. Oh, off balance, but it's okay.
Not bad. You hit about 11, 12, and you got about to 8, right?
Yeah.
Marginally close. One thing about you, I'd say one of your biggest misses is your launch angles will get super steep. It's just an effect, honestly, growing up on house shot a lot. You can throw it right and it will hook. Board shots, not so much.
Yeah.
That was already better. Did we do exactly what we wanted? No, but we hit the pocket and we struck, which is even more of a benefit.
Yeah.
As far as the ball motion goes, that looked pretty good. We were a little light on that. Let's go ahead and move another board or 2 right, square up more, and see if we can get it flush.
Okay. I'll stand on moving to 2 and 1 right.
Oh,
it's way too far out.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's try it again.
I hit around like 6.
Yeah, you just sent it right.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Go for 8 or 9. A little better.
Got it right a little bit more.
Still a little right.
Okay, so we know if we miss, now we know if we hit around 8, it's pretty much OB.
Yeah.
Right? I want you to hit 10. Your angles are still a little open. You can either move 1 with your feet and keep your eyes the same to cheat and square up more, but we don't want it. We don't want our entry angles open in the heads.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and close them down and try to go up the line more. Much better. Much better. Okay. When you started Junior Gold before, you mentioned you started somewhere around the 17, 18 range.
Yeah.
And you're giving the pocket away.
Yeah.
It might come back, it might not, right?
Yeah.
In that case, you basically have a lot of OB right, and you're basically trying to bounce off friction that really doesn't exist. The friction you're trying to create right now is with a big old ball and you're two-handed, you have a lot of rev rate.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a lot more inconsistent than trying to play up the lane and have more of a controllable shot. You're basically creating more of a left to right when we're trying to play a little bit more front to back. So what you did there on that last shot was really good. You're able to get the ball going forward more, and you kept the pocket in play. Yet we have not seen one actually see, right?
Yeah.
We haven't tested the middles yet. What I want you to do is move your eyes like you're gonna miss a board or two left.
Okay.
All right?
Looking at about.
Okay. Board or two turned into 4 or 5, but that's okay. The big thing I think on this pattern, how much friction in the heads did you guys see?
Not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot. Things got down lane easier.
Yeah.
Right now, where you're playing, you have a decent amount of OB right? And you got that one in and it really sent itself,
Yeah.
right? One of the things I'm seeing with that particular ball now that we control the head pin, right? Now we can try to refine it. When you're throwing the ion, right now it's actually hooking around 25 to 30-ish feet. You can start seeing it, see that lane, it's starting to process, trying to get to equilibrium. When you threw that one in, it really saw that middle part of the lane and never was able to even get down lane more. This is an importance of rotation. If we are trying to control, especially the front part of the lane, where it's hooking on this particular lane, it might not have junior gold, but right now we're seeing a hook in the mids.
Yeah.
This is where axis rotation is such a big thing. If we have too much rotation and we throw the ball and it sees friction, if that ball hasn't rotated to equilibrium enough where when you throw it and you have a lot of rotation, if it sees that friction, it's either gonna take off or it hasn't processed enough to even get into a roll. It skips and moves past that point. What I want you to do on this one is we're looking for smooth and controllable. We have the ball and we're playing up the lane more, right? Now, what hand position can we create to create even more of a smooth and controllable roll?
Like more up the back.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Now on this shot, let's go ahead, play exactly where you were, but we're gonna try to make sure we get the ball rolling more, reduce the axis rotation. What that will do is it will set the pocket up, set the ball up towards that pocket, rather than if it has a good amount of rotation and you get the ball to the right spot, it will hook into the pocket.
Yeah.
And we saw a few light swishers and stuff like that. If we take that light swisher and we just reduce our axis rotation, what I'm expecting it to do would be actually hook and get into its roll a little earlier, further away from the pocket, so it can set up more towards it. If we get around it, especially in a long pattern, we're gonna be waiting for that friction to hit. If it hits, if it doesn't, it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and throw another shot. We're gonna go ahead and just reduce our rotation.
All right. If I'm gonna reduce my hand rotation, I'm probably just gonna position my hand just more, face it to the right, pointing my index finger to the 9 board right now.
Nice. That was good. That ball was about 2 boards in to what you just struck 2 shots ago. If you threw it the way you do it before, I think with the amount of rotation you have, it would have sparked off that friction you see it in the mid lane and would have hooked past the pocket.
Yeah.
We always want our ball to create a smooth and controllable roll. Now, if we have a smooth and controllable ball on a pattern that requires a big old ball like that, and we put a lot of rotation on it, now we have a skid snappy type of rotation, but it's fighting against what the ball wants to do or what the lane's telling us. When you start on a pattern, you don't know what it is. What I would suggest would be starting around that first, second arrow, right? And even in warm-ups, use a hand position that creates a slow ball roll with a slower bowling ball.
Okay.
What this will do is then you have a baseline where, okay, I'm bowling on 20 mils and I'm throwing an ion max. Well, even with a slow ball roll, that it's hooking early and it's coming past the head pin. Well, immediately, and you're gonna notice that within 2 or 3 shots of practice, and you're gonna say, this pattern doesn't have enough volume for me. Then you can ball down from there.
Yeah.
Right? I haven't even mentioned moving across the lane at all. This is all things that we set up on the second arrow roughly. Yes, we knew what the pattern was because you bowled on it before, but we've already controlling the pocket as is. Once we have control of the pocket, then we can fine tune like your axis rotation, or at the end of practice, if you feel like that ion is maybe, let's just say, hooking a little too early, you can go to something with maybe a cleaner cover stock. You can go to an Origin. You can go to Physics Blackout, something that just promotes more length.
Yeah.
Find the complement to that ball. When you do go into tournaments like this, having that pre-shot routine or that strategy going in, Bull U talks about strategy a lot, where you want to get an idea on what you're doing to start. Because every time we bowl on a particular lane, For the most part, we're trying to find roughly the same type of ball motion, smooth, controllable. Now the lane will tell us what ball that is, but if we can go into that tournament with a game plan, we'll be able to check some boxes off and not have to guess where, okay, I threw the ion max at 15, that looked okay, I moved right, oh, I jumped, I'm gonna ball change, okay, that ball didn't do what I want, I'm gonna move back to 15. Like, you can go back and forth depending on basically the combination of where your feet are, where your eyes are, what ball you're throwing, etc. Whenever you do go into a tournament like this, the 3 things I want you to check off on your box. Pick up the slowest thing you got, typically urethane, ion max, one of the 2. Play somewhere around first, second arrow, up the boards, and use a slow type of hand position. That will at least create too much control, which is better than not enough control, right? I think that's some of the things that you can work on there. One of the other things too that we know and the audience have seen is your launch angle. Now there's 6 things that you can do to a bowling ball. The top 3 are rev rate, speed, and rotation. Rotation being number 1 by far. The other things are grip tension, loft, and launch angle. Okay. Now for you, I think launch angle is gonna be something that you need to work on to be able to play maybe further right, keep that head pin in play. For people, and I'm the same way, when I went to college or even when I came out of college bowling in St. Louis, it was throw it right, watch it hook, right? Being able to play up the boards is what, more foreign to you, right? I want you to work on your launch angles. The way you would do that is basically practice going straight up. Set it on 10, go over 10, hit 10 down lane. I want you to work on that. I think that will help you in future tournaments because everything I just spoke about is going up the board. When you have a big launch angle right, now you're creating more left to right. Now you're relying more on early hook, and if it's not there, you're SOL. Yeah. All right, go ahead and throw a couple more shots and we'll go ahead and end this. But is there anything else you wanted to go over or anything you saw at Junior Gold that you think would be important to know?
Nah, I'm not sure really at all. Like, yeah, like I said, when I played in qualifying, I played a lot more inside where there was a lot more oil. I tried to use the cliff of the pattern and I'd either miss left and it would just duck hook left, or I'd miss too far right and it would just send out and just not hit pocket at all.
If you ever feel like you get into that position again, 9 chances out of 10 you're creating too much angle. Yeah. You're trying to create too much of that lane. I would say if you're seeing that, you're probably in the wrong part of the lane, and more than likely you're probably trying to cross that hook zone, that break point, through it from a left to right motion rather than trying to roll through it from a front to back. Yeah. That's what I would say maybe work on would be that. Okay. All right, go ahead, try to strike more and we'll see what's going on.
Stand on 19, try and throw it up. Too far out right. It's okay.
Yep.
7 at the arrows probably.
Yeah, definitely a little too much launch angle.
Yeah. Keep it in front of you. That's what I need to do. A little too far shooting. Yes.
I mean, even with that ball, I mean, yeah, you went high, yeah, you pulled it, but it wasn't runaway Brooklyn, and you missed a head pin like the other shot.
Exactly.
All right, go ahead and reset, and let's get a good shot.
Let's try this one more time. A little better.
Okay, you've thrown your max a few times, and you struck, and you didn't strike.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I'm seeing with any long pattern, for the most part, obviously they can play different depending on where you're at. Right now with what we're seeing, that ball is extremely slow and it is struggling to make it back to the pocket if we get it right. And if we get it in, it's actually hooking far enough away from the head pin that it's not gonna hold, roll out, and roll towards that head pin. It's gonna keep going left. Yes, this is a long pattern. Most people are gonna think, oh, long pattern, I need the biggest hooking ball possible to make it to the pocket because it doesn't hook. Well, yes and no. That more depends on the volume. On this particular pattern, we actually see more of that mid lane hook. When you're throwing your ion max, what I'm seeing is that ball is trying to hook roughly in that 30 foot mark where it's trying to process and get to equilibrium. But if it doesn't do it perfectly, it's either skating or it's actually finishing its procession and going past the pocket. When we have longer patterns, we have less air or less free hook, basically. What I mean by that is this is a 46 foot pattern. Really, we have roughly, depending on buff and whatnot, 14 feet to get the ball back to the pocket. That's gonna make us do 2 things. 1, play closer to the pocket because it has less time to make the boards up. And then 2, maybe go to a quicker responding bowling ball. What that means is it's gonna get typically further down lane sometimes, but more specifically, it's gonna create that motion in a quicker fashion. So it can respond. It can make it back in those 14 feet. You're throwing the Ion Max, which is one of your slowest balls, yeah?
Yeah.
So you picked up your Venom Shock.
Yeah.
Now your Venom Shock, a lot of us know, is definitely less core, still a solid bowling ball, but it does respond in a much quicker fashion, and being symmetric should continue more.
Yeah.
What we saw was too early of a roll. We're gonna wanna go to something that requires less oil or needs more friction, i.e. the Venom, and then hopefully creates quicker motion downline. Go in the exact same spot as you were with the Ion. Go ahead and toss that and see what it does.
Should I change my rotation at all?
No, we just try to change one thing at a time,
Right.
at least for this experiment.
Okay. Standing on 19th.
All right, so basically exact same thing with the Ion.
But, yeah.
Now you did get it right. We're seeing a lot of oil, right? Basically, the ball doesn't have enough time to make it back from 5 board to 17 and a half. Let's go ahead, scooch in, get us a bit closer to that pocket.
Okay. Probably stand on 24, throw it at.
Yeah, but I want to see that tracer downline, that right tracer, 10.
A 5 and 4, maybe 5 and 5. Oh my gosh, off balance, but it's okay. YouTube foul. YouTube foul.
YouTube foul?
Yeah.
That's okay, they don't count. We made it back to the pocket. It wasn't your best shot, right?
No.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and try that again, but at least we didn't wash out and we left a single pin. We're closer.
Well, knowing I missed left there, just gonna try the same shot. Maybe I'll throw it at 12.
Yeah, much better.
That's
A lot better ball motion. We were able to still see a smooth and controllable ball roll, but it didn't hook at 30 feet.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to illustrate this to you guys that just because it's a long pattern doesn't mean you need to be throwing the biggest bowling ball you have. Yes, we're looking for that smooth, controllable ball roll I mentioned in our pre-tournament strategies, but we can see this is fresh, and immediately the Ion is hooking the mid lane. That's gonna tell us that we need to go to something that requires less volume to be effective, and that would be that Venom. I just wanted to illustrate that to you guys. Just because it's a long pattern doesn't mean you need to throw to something that big oil bowling ball.
And I wish I knew that for qualifying, because I brought the Venom Shock to Junior Gold. I didn't register it though, because I didn't think I'd need it for the long pattern or anything else really. And I registered the Ion Max when I only threw that on the long pattern. I only threw out of 2 out of the 16 qualifying games, and I probably could have had a lot more success with the Venom instead.
Sure, yeah, and you get a practice session, but it is a little harder to figure out exactly what you want to throw in that practice session. And that's another thing, guys, like when you bowl, yes, bowling in a controlled environment like this, when you're by yourself, it's very easy to understand the lanes and where they're transitioning. The thing that's hard about Junior Gold, or more specifically, like any amateur type of tournament, like for me, it's the TAT. The TAT has taken more money from me than even PBA events. Like, steals my money every time. The reason is like you're following people with different abilities. As you follow them, the lane transitions and you're already bowling on something that's hard. Keep that in mind. In a controlled environment like this, we can definitely use some of these strategies and they work quite well. But as you move, one of the things to add to that is who you're following. Are you following a two-handed rev monster? Are you following someone who's throwing your plastic up the lane? You gotta pay attention to that. One of the things I like to do is look forward. Now, don't score watch. Yes, you wanna see who's striking, maybe copy him if you're lost, but don't be like, oh, he's striking, why am I not, victim, whatever. We don't wanna do that. We wanna see what ball motion they're creating, where they're creating it from. That will tell us maybe where there's more friction and you can make a better educated guess moving lane. All right, let's go ahead and throw one more to close this out.
Try just repeat the exact same shot. Standing on 24, looking at 12, down lane up the arrows. Oh, gosh, that was
Bye,
awful.
ball. All right.
I pinched a nerve in that one, but it's okay.
That's all right, it happens. So, I just want to say thank you for Marcos coming on the channel. We're going to continue to work on some stuff with him over the next year. This guy is going to college. Any college scouts out there watching, hit him up. He's a great bowler, even better kid, very teachable. So if you want that player on your team, definitely scoop him up. But yeah, this was the 46-foot long pattern that they had at Junior Gold. And this is a recap of what that pattern was, but also helping my boy Marcos out on how to get lined up a little better, how to get lined up faster, and the things that he wants to see. Thanks for coming on, brother. And if you guys like this video, please smash that like button, leave a comment. We definitely appreciate it. We have a road to 20,000 subs, and I think we're gonna get there by the end of the year, but we can only do it with you guys. My name is Jayson Robarge. This is Rev It Up Bowling. Much love, peace.